What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Gamesense Meta. This is the box that it comes in. This is just a little bit too much on the box for me, but the box doesn't really matter that much. It's about the product that's held within inside the box. So it is a symmetrical design, buttons on the left side, RGB on the bottom. This RGB ring actually is pretty nice. You can control the RGB effects with the button on the bottom. This is a Zowie S2-ish looking mouse in terms of like the shape and dimensions. This is my first experience with this shape, and it is pretty nice. I do wish that it was a little bit bigger, just because I do prefer to use bigger mice. The first thing I want to talk about with this mouse is the coating, because I know that they were going for a G Pro Superlight like coating, and I don't have the black version of the G Pro Superlight, so the white one really does not show like that many like hand oils and whatnot, and like this is like my main mouse. The black one, I'm pretty sure that if I had a black Superlight, it probably would, but I do occasionally get a little bit of like shine like over here, like if I don't like wipe it off. So it does appear just a little bit, so I don't really want to nick them for this because this coating is pretty grippy, but it is going to show like pretty much all fingerprints and everything. And the Roccat Cont Pro that I had that was in the black copy also did a really poor job at you know, hiding like the handles and whatnot. So I think it's just something with black mice that have these really matte and super grippy coatings show pretty much all the fingerprints and everything, almost as bad as a glossy mouse. I'm just glad that this mouse isn't glossy, because I would not have even been interested in it because I hate glossy coatings. The side buttons are pretty good, nicely sized and appropriately spaced, very easy to hit during gameplay. The buttons, the mouse 1 and 2 buttons, are KLGM 4.0s, and they sound and feel extremely good. They're light, they're crispy, they're tactile. Give you guys a quick sound test right now. The scroll wheel is pretty light, but I do have one issue with the scroll wheel that I'll let you guys hear real quick. So my copy, I did get a bad scroll wheel. I do still enjoy the functionality of it. Like the smoothness is really good, and the tactility of the scroll wheel press is pretty decent as well. But of course it is rattly. So in this case, let's just say that I bought this, I would definitely RMA it and send it back and get a new copy, and obviously hope that it doesn't have rattle. But hopefully this is something they can get under control with their QC in the future. The mouse feet are also pretty smooth as well. I do really enjoy using these. I would say that they're probably like B-tier mouse feet. They're not like the best, and they do feel pretty similar to the speed that I would get from core pads, but I would say that core pads would still be a noticeable upgrade. But I don't really think that it's 100% necessary to get core pads. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. These mouse feet are pretty good, and in gameplay I had next to no issues in terms of the mouse feet themselves. Could they be a little bit smoother? Of course, but everything could be. The paracord of the Meta is very good as well. It's not bad. Would I prefer it to be wireless? Yes, but they do have a wireless mouse that's coming out pretty soon, the MVP. But this paracord is pretty decent. I would say that this is probably like an A- tier paracord, but if you put in a mouse bungee, you pretty much don't have anything to worry about. I'll link my favorite mouse bungee in the description below. I like to use the Pulsar bungee, and that is pretty much all I have to say in terms of the Gamesense Meta. It's a pretty nice mouse. I do wish that the scroll wheel wasn't really rattly. Other than that, I would have pretty much nothing bad to say about it. This is my first experience using something that's similar in shape to the Zowie S2, so I do feel like the shape is a little bit small for me, but it is still pretty comfortable. Like I can game pretty well with it, but this mouse is on the smaller side. So if you have something like an Orochi V2 and you're looking for something that's a little bit bigger, then I would say that this might be a good option. But the next thing that I want to see from the Gamesense Meta, other than the scroll wheel being fixed and having better QC in terms of just that, I would like to see a wireless version, because at this point in life, there's so many good wireless mice that are available. I just want to see this thing be wireless and like under $100. Like if it's like 70-80 bucks for a wireless version of this, I pretty much wouldn't have any issue. I know that the current sensor in this mouse is the 3360, and I don't have any issues using the 3360. It works pretty good. but I know they do have plans to upgrade the sensor. So hopefully after they upgrade the sensor, a wireless Gamesense Meta should be next thing up on the list. And then at that point, I do think that it would be a pretty good contender as a top option for wireless mice. But as a wire mouse for only $59, I also don't think it's a bad price, and it is a pretty good deal, especially if you're looking for something that's like a little bit different in terms of like a Model O or a Razer Viper. So I do feel like this is a little bit nicer than those mice because I do prefer the KLGM 4.0s in comparison to the switches available on the Viper Ultimate, as well as the Omrons on the Model O series of mice. So I like the switches. The side buttons I also like a little bit better than the Model O and the Viper as well because they are appropriately sized and very easy to hit. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the Meta. Obviously, like I said, it shows pretty much all of your fingerprints. So if you guys want to hack my DNA, you know, be my guest in 4K. But next thing up on the list that I want to talk about other than the Gamesense Meta is going to be the Gamesense Radar. So I've had this mouse pad for, has it been like 6 months maybe? I don't know. I've had this mouse pad for a while and I tested it out on stream like when I first got it. Play with it on and off here and there. I did play with it with the Meta 2. It's very slow. So if you want like an extremely slow, I mean like extremely slow mouse pad that does not really have much speed at all, like it's basically like what you think of when you think of like a control pad. Like it's extremely controlled because you will have to use some muscle to move that mouse around a little bit. And I do think it's good if you're looking for an extremely slow mouse pad, like let's say you play like CSGO or Rainbow Six Siege or Valorant or something where you just really want to hone in and control your shot to the best of your ability. The Radar actually might be a pretty decent option if you're looking for an extremely slow mouse pad. Personally, I prefer my mouse pads to have a little bit more speed on them, so I also don't play CSGO or Valorant or any games like that, so I can see why I don't really value having an extremely slow mouse pad. But otherwise, I could make a case for it to see like why somebody would like to use a mouse pad like this if you play those kind of games. So I do think that the Meta and the Radar is a pretty decent pairing if you like to play those games and you prefer some mice on the smaller side, because my thing is I couldn't switch to the Meta because it is pretty small, but I do like the features and the KL 4.0s that I don't know why no other manufacturers are using KL 4.0s, because they're like really good. And 8.0s, a lot of mice recently have been having like lighter tension 8.0s than what I felt on the XM1R, and I do like that quite a bit. But this served as a pretty nice reminder to show me how nice KL 4.0s are. Like those switches are really nice. I don't know, I might have to put some in my Logitech G Pro wire, maybe, I don't know, we'll talk about that another day. But if you're looking for a Radar and you don't want the black version, they do have other colors of the Radar available as well. But that's pretty much all I had to say about the Meta and the Radar. I do like the shape of the mouse quite a bit, and I also really like the switch choice that they decided to go with because it's a bit rare. And I also see this as a very good alternative to something like a HyperX Pulsefire Haste, which is also a really good symmetrical mouse, as well as the Model O. And I think that this could be a smaller option to those mice if you have smaller hands. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel as well. Also, let me know what you guys think of the setup. Do you guys like it? I got some new lights from Govee. I had to wait like a month for these Govee Glide lights to come in, so I got one there on the wall, and then I also got another one here on the wall behind my monitor on my editing desk. So just let me know what you guys think of the setup in the comment section below. Since I moved, you guys probably noticed I will be doing a setup tour pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna split up though. I'm gonna do my gaming and streaming setup and like a tour of like the rest of my office, and I'm also gonna do a setup of my editing station. So it's all based on like one PC as far as like gaming and editing, and then I have a streaming piece. We'll go over that in the setup video. Get excited. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, and I'll see you guys. Take care. Have a great weekend.